What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Brand podcast. Today, we are going to be covering what I call the on-demand Etsy sales strategy that, well, no one is really using and no one really knows about. But I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. You probably already know what this is. And if you've been following this channel or attending any live streams or watching any of our videos, you probably know what I'm about to share with you. And if you do, drop it in the comments. I'd love to see what your guess is. Now, let me just kind of give you a little bit of the backstory. Before I do, though, Chris Schaefer is here. He's just not in video form. We can't get his video to load, so he's just going to be right now in the chat, and also we can hear him. Chris, can we hear you? Are you actually there?
I'm in a super secret, undisclosed location.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Okay. So there is Chris. It's kind of weird hearing his voice and not seeing him. So he is listening. He is lurking. And if we get his camera working, we'll bring him on. If not, I'm just going to kind of go through exactly what this strategy is, but also kind of share with you how I came to discover this, but also why I'm kind of kicking myself because I'm looking at myself as a lazy marketer, something that I should have been doing once again. And I stopped doing it for a little while because I got busy, and then I started using it again. And guess what? Started to get some sales. So we're going to continue to do it. So I'm just looking at the comments real quick, and we do have some people that did guess correctly. So we're not gonna let it out of the bag yet, but I am going to basically share with you what that strategy is up front. So this way here, I'm not going to make you wait for it and all of that stuff. I'm not going to do the YouTube hack out there that's like make everybody wait until the end. I'm not going to do that. Basically, what we're talking about is email. We're talking about using email marketing. And the reason why I say I kind of, became lazy is because this past, I would say month and a half, actually, I would say the last month, we've been busy. Myself, my wife, and my daughter, we've been traveling quite a bit to different colleges and also camps for beach volleyball. My daughter's, into beach volleyball and potentially wanting to go to college and playing there. So we've been traveling a lot. So I just have been busy. But what I decided to do was, send an email. And I go, I'm just going to send an email. I haven't sent one in a while, and I'll see what happens. And, my gosh, guess what happened? I got some orders. And my wife actually said to me, she goes, did you send an email today? And I said, yeah, actually I did. So then it got me thinking, and I'm like, I probably should remind people that they should be building a list and they should be sending emails to their list because there's so many benefits to it. And I said, you know what? I wrote an email to brand creators, to you. If you're on the email list, you got that email. And I was like, hey, I've got this 1-day email list workshop. I'm thinking about, doing it again as far as like teaching it. But it's just so important that you use email. You know what I'm going to do when I get off here writing this email to you? I'm going to send another email and see if it works again. And guess what? I did an update email to my list, to you guys, and I shared with you, I got another 4 orders just from sending one email. And here's the cool thing. I am going to be sharing with you what that email looks like. And here's the other crazy thing. The email, it's less than 150 words. Less than 150 words. Now, I want to know in the comments real quick before we get rocking and rolling here and get into implementing this strategy. I would like to know how many of you are using email right now in your Etsy shop, in driving sales. I'm just curious right now if you are, in fact, building an email list. And if you are, second part of that question would be, when's the last time you sent an email? Because if all you do today from this is say, oh my gosh, Scott, I need to send an email, you're probably gonna get a few orders. Okay. And so I also have something else I'm going to share with you that no one is talking about. And it's really how to take that original email and then how to get more out of it. And it's something that Everbee email has built in now, thanks to I'm going to give myself credit on this one. This was a suggestion that I had. And I said, if you guys are going to build this tool, you got to add this feature in, because I use this feature all the time and it allows me to get more eyeballs and it allows me to sell more stuff. And it took them about a month, and then they implemented it and they told me, hey, it's live. It's there. And I've been using it and it works. I'm going to show you some stats. So really, really cool stuff here. You guys know I'm a big email guy. Love email. I write email every single week for our brand creators, people, you, and we also send emails to the Etsy side of things. And yes, I have kind of gotten a little lazy there. I'm being honest. But now, because I'm going to be running this one-day email list workshop where we're going to do a little hybrid where we're actually going to be teaching the strategy on how to build the list, which I'll share some of that here with you guys today. I said, I probably should start sending some emails so I can actually show people what I was doing, and also to bring attention to why you should build email. I mean, guys, you guys know this. Like, my background, I'm a marketer. Like, I understand the way to get people interested in something is to show them that it actually works. So I'm like, probably should show them that it actually works. So speaking of that, let me just pull up my screen real quick. Let me pull up my screen. So check this out. Okay. This is sales that came in from sending emails. This is revenue that is just from emails. If I did not send emails, this money would not have come in. And then the other thing I should say is this here was only being tracked once they rolled out the tracking link that now Etsy is giving us. They're giving us that share and save link, and we're able to now use that link in our emails. Up until that point, you couldn't track it. So I know for a fact that number is probably close to double, okay, from how I've been sending emails, because I've been sending emails for a long time. Oh, look at that. Chris is actually in the building. Wow, Chris.
Who knew?
What?
Who knew?
Let's not get excited. Don't move too fast. It might lock up on you. So yeah, Chris is in a secret location. And we'll probably talk about that here in a little bit. But Chris, I'm on a roll here. I'm going to keep going. You can just kind of get yourself situated over there. So what we're looking at here is just traffic that's come from email. And you can also see that we've saved $330 because we don't pay the additional fees when we are driving our own traffic. So this is the cool thing. Okay. And again, like I said, I am guilty of being lazy sometimes when it comes to doing what I'm telling you to do. And I fell victim to that. And you can see right here, this was from this week after I said, I probably should send an email. And that's what I did. So you can see here, this week was 11 orders from sending email, $478 this month so far. And again, this month, we're only 16 days into the month, but I only started sending these emails probably about a week and a half ago. Actually, it was a front end of last week, I believe it was. So, these are okay numbers. I think they should be higher, but if I did this every week, I can almost guarantee I'm probably going to make an extra $500 to $600 in sales every single week. So if we said it's just $500, we're talking $2,000 just from email. So the next question a lot of times people have is like, well, what do you put in the email? How do you write email so frequently? I got you. I actually pulled up. I've got another slide here that I'm going to walk you through the email. Okay. Unless you guys don't want to see the email. Who wants to see the emails? I actually recreated the emails because I didn't want to disclose the niche that we're in, just for privacy, but I did recreate it for as if I was in the garden niche. And I basically use the same framework. Okay. And like I said, under 150 characters. Who would like to see the email that I actually wrote? And if you do, then I will share it with you. And if you don't, well, then you can just sit there tight and we'll talk about other things, more email, but I just won't show you those emails. But I'm pretty sure you're going to want to see them. I see a lot of yeses coming in here. Yes, I want to see. Yeah. Okay, cool. I figured you did. But I just kind of wanted to just make sure. Chris, did we get any update here in the comments as far as, is anyone actually sending email? It'd help if you unmuted yourself. Yeah.
Minor detail. emails, man.
This is the tech guy too. This is the tech nerd data guy that can't even turn his audio on. But anyway, go ahead.
Sitting over here getting frustrated because my webcam is showing in the preview and not on the live stream for everybody, which is a feature, not a bug. That's what I hear. Nobody wants to see me. They just want to hear my super awesome, doubly deep voice right now. We have a lot of people in the comments talking about the fact that they've either started email. Somebody said they sent an email yesterday for the very first time, which is pretty cool. And a few people, Scott, who are just getting started, they said, my only subscriber right now is my husband. I forced him to subscribe. And I think Artisan Studio, if you get one unsubscribe on something, you know exactly who that is at this point, which is probably not great for him. But there's nothing wrong with just getting started, right? And I think what most people miss, Scott, is that doing email does not have to be simple. And how many words did you say this email is?
It's 100 and actually I have the exact count because I put it in like a word counter. 104 was the first email. The other one, I didn't time that where I didn't map that one out to see how much it is or compute it. But it's about the same length, literally. And I repurposed some of it.
What a lot of people misunderstand about emails, they get emails from Best Buy or they get emails from Home Depot, and they think that that should be the style of email that they're sending. And that, I think, is a big thing that holds a lot of people back. What you will see is that email can be just as, if not more effective. And if we actually look at the numbers from HubSpot, from a lot of the people who study what works and what doesn't, those types of emails are actually less effective. So it turns out you can be a, quote, to quote Scott Volker, lazy email marketer and actually end up with better results than the super nerdy people who are making really, really pretty, flashy, shiny things and putting in a heck of a lot more work for what turns out to be worse results.
Well, Chris, let me also say that a lot of times people are putting in like a header graphic and they're putting in like they're using a template as far as like graphics and like trying to make it look like a newsletter, like you're professional because you're a business. You're supposed to look professional. Newsflash. Mine are basically a text doc. That is it. There is literally no graphics. And part of it is, well, it's been proven that your deliverability is better. So it shows up in people's inboxes without getting thrown into the promotions tab or the, the spam folder. So little pro tip there for you. If you want to increase your deliverability, because let's face it, if you're not getting delivered in the inbox, you're not being seen. How many times have you went and searched in your spam folder for a message? How many times have you went in your promotions tab and looked for a message? Probably never. Or if you did, you were looking for something because you're like, why didn't I receive it? It's got to be here. And then someone probably said, hey, why don't you look in these two folders? So my thing is we want that email to come through as if we are writing a friend. Because let's face it, these people, they're your friends. If they're buying from you and then repeat buying from you, which by the way, and I didn't have time to put this together. I really wanted to, but there was an order that came through from this email, and inside of Etsy now, it'll show you, it'll say in green, it'll say share and save. So it'll show you that order came in from a share and save. Okay. Now I know the only place that these links are being shared is in an email. So I know that came from an email. The other thing that Etsy has is they have a little star on the order, and the star on the order, that is repeat customer. Okay. And I had an order come through. They purchased 3 things and they were a repeat customer, and it was from the share and save link. 1 email, 1 order. But also the things that we always talk about, and you guys probably know what I'm going to say here. You can't sell people more stuff if you don't have more stuff that is aligned with the first thing that they purchased. And Chris is just constantly trying to get this thing to work. And Chris, I don't think it's gonna, buddy. You might just want to stop playing over there. Stop playing over there. Chris is trying hard to get his camera back in, but I just think it doesn't want to let him in today. Just does not want to let you in, bud.
Just not going to be fun with it. So we'll just roll with it this way. You get to look at this pretty face.
Let's just roll with it. That's what we do. Okay. So my point is that people try to make their emails fancy, or they think they don't have anything to say. I'm going to share with you how I came up with something to say. I came up with a reason, and then I came up with another reason from the email that actually got sent out. And I was inspired to do it from something that a customer had sent me back. Okay. So I'm going to show you what that looks like inside of that email. But the next thing I wanted to do here, I got to see what else I have kind of queued up here. Oh, the email length. I already said it. It was 104 words. 104 words. That's it. Okay. Really, really simple. Oh, sneak peek. No, I didn't want to do that yet. So yeah, that was the email. So I already asked the question, how many of you are sending emails? My next question is, have you started to build your email list yet? So if you could leave that in the comments and let me know. Here's the thing that I really want to make sure that I'm clear on this. We're talking about email, but we're talking about email to drive sales to Etsy. Okay. But what I also want you to be aware of is we've all heard about the suspensions. We've all heard about the accounts getting shut down. We've heard all of that stuff. Guess what an email does for you, or an email list does for you? It secures your business to where if you did, God forbid, you got shut down, you got banned, suspended, whatever, you have an email list now that I could take that link in that email and point it anywhere I want. I can point it to eBay. I can point it to Amazon. I can point it to my Shopify store. Like, I can point it wherever I want. You see, because these people also already trust me or my wife. And funny thing is I'm writing this email as my wife. Like, I'm writing as my wife. Now, number one, I know her tone. I know her personality. So I don't run it through by her or anything. I actually, the other day, I said to her, I said, do you want to hear what your email said the other day? And she's like, yeah, what did I say? And then I told her, and she thought it was kind of funny, but it's exactly what she would have said or what she would have done. I've been married we're going on 30 years, guys, 30 years, this May 21st, which is actually coming up. So yeah, 30 years. Yeah. So I know her pretty well. She knows me pretty well. So I'm writing the emails in her tone, and it's by her. The reason why, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to spend time doing that. She'd rather be creating. So that's why her and I do make a good team. Not everyone has that luxury. So if you don't, you have to write the emails yourself. If I wasn't in her life, she'd have to write the emails herself, and she would. Okay. So the big thing I want you to take away from is by building an email list, no matter what you are selling or where you are selling, you are going to be able to take that email list and bring it wherever you need to go. Okay. So it's an asset. We're building an asset. The other thing is once you build a list, you know how to build a list. Like, this isn't my first time ever building a list inside of this business for my wife's Etsy shop. Like, it's probably like my 10th, right? And like, I've been building email lists all the way back to the day of, or the days of my wife and I in our photography business. And I've told this story. We call it our fishbowl method now, because that's how it originally started. Is we took a fishbowl, a glass fishbowl, and we went to a gala. It was a school function, and it was a fundraiser. And we basically donated a session of portraits. I think it was like $219 at the time. I think I still remember that because it was a pretty big number back then. And what we did is then we put all of our portraits up on these easels, and then we'd have people walking by, and then we would have the bowl there, the fish bowl, and then we'd have little slips of paper, and people would be able to put their name and email address, fold it in the fish bowl, and at the end of the night, we'd go in there and we'd pick a winner, and then we'd announce it. And then guess what? We might have had 100 people enter that night. One person won. We took all of those, and back then it was manual. We had to go in and enter everybody's email in. And we did that in Outlook Express, by the way. And then we would blind copy everyone. Who remembers blind copying emails? So you could send out an email, but only the one person that received it could see it, and all the other ones were buried. So I used to blind copy those people, and you can only do 100 at a time. It was kind of a security thing. And so then I sent out those emails to the people that didn't win. And I go, hey, thanks so much for entering our portrait giveaway this past weekend at the gala. But we wanted to offer you a 25% off discount for a family portrait session. give us a call and we'll book your session. Just mention the gala. And that's it. And then every time we would get ready for the holidays or get ready for an event coming up, or maybe it was, kids were doing their first communion, we would then email the list, say, hey, we're doing first communion sessions. We've only got 15 spots available. It's going to be first come, first serve. And boom, we'd sell them out. That is how I started email marketing, okay, and email list building. And since then, I've done it through so many different businesses, and I've done millions of dollars through email.
So,
okay?
Scott.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Where's that voice coming from? Wait a minute. I think I hear Chris Schaefer. Chris, where are you?
The voice of email Jesus.
Oh,
no.
Guys,
that was just a little egotistical on my part, but we'll go with it. Outside of a little bit of technology change, right? You went from blind carbon copying people. How much has the process of creating an email list changed since you went to your first gala?
Oh my gosh.
And started doing that. Is it really the same thing now? Or have you had to massively change that strategy since then in terms of how you get the emails?
No, the strategy is the same. So you guys probably know our strategy, but I'll walk you through it just briefly on what it looks like. And that way you'll see it's the exact same strategy. It's just modernized. It's a lot easier now. We don't have to enter in people's emails, and then you're going to get a character wrong and it's going to be the wrong email address, right? It can still happen. They can enter it in wrong too. But the way that it's evolved is we still have a main bundle that we're attracting people with, the right people. So imagine this, we're at the gala, right? And there's people walking by. This is a school function. So there's people there with kids, they're adults, right? With kids. And we know that they probably are going to get their pictures taken somewhere, whether it's JCPenney's, Sears, or maybe a local photographer. Okay. So we knew that, but we're like, we're there. We're going to show them this is what we offer, and we're going to give one away. So that was what we call a lead magnet. That's the one that gets someone to raise their hand and go, hey, I got a family, I got kids, and I want to get our pictures taken. And I like your stuff. And so then they would enter their name and email address. Same thing goes right now. So I'll just skip all the other businesses I've done it in, but I'll kind of share what we do with the Etsy side of things. So what we do is we just take 3 to 5 of our products. It could be a sweatshirt. It could be a blanket. It could be a flag. It could be a pillow. It could be whatever that you know that your ideal customer would want. Okay. So that's the first thing. You got to come up with that bundle. From there, what we're going to do, actually, you know what? Let me time out real quick. There's a lot I'm going to cover here. I forgot about this. I actually have a guide, an email guide that actually walks you through most of this in pretty good detail. It's part of our email marketing guide. It's free. If you want a copy of that, in the comments, just put email. All right. And I'll make sure that you get a copy of it, and it'll walk you through that. It also goes through like how to follow up with your prospects and things like that. But if you want a copy of that, just put email in the comments. I forgot about that because I know that I'm going to be going over a lot, and it's going to be a lot to take in, and it's more visual going through the guide. So we need the offer, right? The offer that's going to attract the right person. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2 is now we have to get it in front of people. We can't just create it and go, people are going to come. We got to go and find the people. So for us, we found a gala that was for our kids' school. They were doing this. We're like, oh, it's the perfect traffic coming through, right? It's not like people that don't have kids. We wouldn't do that one, right? And so in this case, we're just going to target those people. Nowadays, we can go on Facebook or Meta, and we can then target people that meet our criteria. And then we are going to create an ad that's going to call those people out. And then they're going to see the picture. So what I mean by calling them out is if it was the photography thing, it would be like, who wants a professional family portraits that will last for years, ? Well, you are going to want this, something like that. So we're calling it out. And then if people are scrolling, they're going to see it and they're going to go, oh, what's that? And then they're going to obviously be captive by the images that we're using as the product that we're giving away. In this case, it would be a family picture. If you're selling garden stuff, it would be all of your garden stuff, right? It would be like a flag with a cardinal on it. It would be, an apron that said, grandma loves to garden or something, right? It's like you're going to put your products in front of the right people. And then your what we call ad copy would be the thing that's going to call people out and get them to stop and look, the imagery as well. And then they're going to click on it. And then they're going to go there and they're going to see that you're giving away $140 worth of stuff for free because you want to serve the garden lover market. And that's it. And then they're going to enter their name and email address on that page. We call that a landing page. And then from there, they're going to be put on your email list. We're going to also then send them to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, there's going to be, and this is key, we didn't have this feature back then either. Once they enter their name and email address, they go to the thank you page. Then from there, they are going to be able to get more entries if they share the giveaway or get people to see it. So you're basically incentivizing them to share it with their friends and family that they think might be interested. And then that's where this thing could take on a little bit of a viral effect here. And so that's the main way that we're doing it now. And it's way easier, as you can see, because people are being targeted all over the world now, not just in like a little, 200 person gala that's going on. And then we get to specifically target those people. And then we have a page that they get to enter their information. They get to see everything. And then from there, we're able to get them to share it for us for free to get more entries. All right. And now we have an email list of people that are interested in what we have to offer. How do we know that? Because why else would they have entered? And we also targeted the right people. Right. And so now imagine having a list of even 500 people and you're able to now let people know that you're creating this stuff and you've got a sale or you just launched a new product. And now you can let those people know. They raise their hand. They like your products. They want to win them. Why wouldn't they maybe want to buy them? Right. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell and kind of how it's all broken down. If you guys have any questions on this, drop it in the comments. I would definitely encourage you, though, to download the guide. All right. So just put email in the comments if you want a copy of that guide. The other thing that we are doing, and this is going to be a little time sensitive, but it will always be kind of up and running. This coming week, we're going to be doing a hybrid email list building class. And I call it hybrid because it's partly going to be on demand and partly going to be live. So what we're going to be doing is walking through a case study on us building a list from scratch using this model. And then from there, teaching you exactly how to implement everything. And we call it the 1-day email list because you can set everything up in 1 day. And we're going to actually show you how to do it. And we do inside the case study. And you watch us build a list in real time. You see us go in and target the right people on Facebook. You see us setting up all of the pages. You see us follow up with the people to encourage them to share their link to get more entries, like all of that stuff. And what we're going to be doing for this hybrid live workshop element to it is Chris and I are going to be showing up for 3 live sessions during this 7-day little list building challenge. If you would like to join us in this, you can go to, or actually, Chris, should we give the link or should we just have them comment?
Let's give them the link.
Okay. Yeah. So if you go, I don't know if we have a banner created or not. But if you go to, I don't think we do, I'm looking right now, but maybe we can create one on the fly, but it's brandcreators.com/1 day. So if you go to brandcreators.com/1 day, maybe Chris, you can put it in the description as well. But once we're done doing the live hybrid where we're having these 3 additional calls, we're going to, you can still join. It'll be on demand and you'll get access to those 3 recordings as well. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, just go to brandcreators.com/1 day. And there you go. Just like that, Chris is behind the scenes typing away. 1 day email workshop is at brandcreators.com/1 day. All right. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Like I said, we will go ahead and try to answer these once we get going here. And I've got a couple other things that I want to share with you guys here today. The email. Chris, should we move into the email, or is there any questions that came up that I need to address?
So we have a bunch, but I think it's important for people to understand what that email looks like. The one question, Scott, and I know we're going to get it, and I've seen it probably twice or 3 times in the chat already, is I thought you couldn't get emails from Etsy customers or from Amazon customers, right? And the way that we're getting around that is by going through the method, Scott, that you just talked about.
Yeah.
We're getting them through the fishbowl method, or we're getting them by having them contact us in one way or another. We're not scraping emails off of Etsy.
Nope.
We don't scrape emails off of Amazon, right?
Nope.
Everything that we do is designed to be terms of service compliant. But at the end of the day, you want access to your customers and your prospects. If you use the fishbowl method, the way that Scott just outlined it, the only reason anybody would opt into that is because they're interested in the thing that you're offering, right? Which means they are your ideal customer. Some of them will unsubscribe. That's just gonna happen, right? So once we get a few people on that list, then we have to think about what to send. And Scott, I know we have a very interesting promotional email, which everybody seems to mess up and try to make more fancy than it needs to be, because I think most people like to overcomplicate things. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this is. I know I actually haven't seen this email specifically, but I know the style that we typically use. And I know we have what we've referred to in the past also as the $1 million email, which is something you can send if your list hasn't been active for a while. But I'm curious what did you call this? The 104 word email?
Yeah.
Or something like that. The lazy email.
The lazy email that brings in sales. Yeah, that sounds cool. So, okay. So yeah, there's questions coming in. Keep them coming in. We'll definitely try to address those. But I did want to get into the email. So this way here, we can kind of break that down. But I want to address what you did ask earlier. And that is, Etsy's cracking down on, sending emails to your customers. And you're right. They're basically specifically saying, if you read it, and we've done videos here on the channel, is that they do not want third-party apps like Everbee or like Aweber, any of them, to basically connect into their platform and get the emails. And then you're sending them emails on their behalf. They don't want that. Okay. Now, you can send emails through the messenger. Okay. So you can and we've went through this before, and we've actually got it in some of our trainings, is basically, if you have a message that goes out to someone after they purchase, you can basically from there, you can put in there that you have a VIP club of where you do monthly giveaways and you do discounts, and it's for the VIP garden lover person. And there's nothing wrong with that. They actually say that they want you to build an email newsletter. They want you to send emails. They wouldn't have done the share and save link if they didn't want you to drive your own traffic. People think, oh, that's just for social media. No, it's for email too, right? Because they don't care as long as you've gotten permission. That's the key word there, permission to send people emails. That's the big one, okay? So if in your first message inside of Etsy, you can pre-do this, right? You can have this so it automatically goes out. You're not using any third-party tool. You're doing it from Etsy or with inside Etsy. You go to your thank you message, and it would say, hey, thank you so much for your order. We're going to be packaging it up and getting it out the door here real soon. We just want to say thank you for supporting a small business. And hey, while I got you, I wanted to invite you to our VIP club. If you go to gardenlovervip.com, you can join and you can get exclusive discounts, early releases, and blah, 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 right? Like all of that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. It's their choice to click on the link, and it's their choice to enter their name and email address. If they do, they're on your list, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, we're not even we're doing that, but this isn't what we're talking about today. That's not our strategy on how we've built most of our list. Most of our list was built with the fishbowl method. Okay. That's how it was built. And it works really well. And as you can see by our results, it's doing pretty well. Okay. So if you're at all thinking like, well, Etsy's going to get mad, you're not even using Etsy to build the list. You're basically going outside of Etsy and you're going to Facebook and you're targeting people that are your ideal customers with your products that are on Etsy, and you're driving people over to Etsy. Etsy wouldn't have a problem with that. Why are they going to have a problem with that? Right? So anyone that's thinking like you can't build an email list anymore and send traffic to Etsy is wrong. And anybody that's saying that is wrong. And I would clearly debate that with them. Okay. I know we've got some Etsy experts out there. Well, we won't get into that. But yeah, email, it's yours. You built it outside of Etsy. You can do whatever you want with it. They're going to love it if you send traffic. Do you think that they're mad because I sent them traffic and I got an extra 16 orders? You think they're mad about that? No, they're happy.
Scott, don't they have a program specifically for that?
Yeah, it's called Share and Save.
Like share and save.
Yeah.
And they pay you for that, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, why would they have this? Right? Why would they have traffic from your share and save links? You're saving on fees with every eligible order placed using your unique trackable link. Okay. This came from email. They don't mind. They like it. They like that. All right. So yeah. So, you really have to understand that you're building an asset for yourself, and also Etsy is going to reward you for it. They're going to reward you here and save you $330 because you didn't use their traffic. You brought your own. And guess what? When you turn your email subscriber into a customer, guess what else Etsy gets? They get to kind of follow them around a little bit, try to get them to buy more stuff of other people's stuff, not just yours. And they're getting in the platform. Okay. So yeah, don't look at it as bad. It's not. It's actually a good thing. All right, Chris, can we move on?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Let's get in the email. Who wants to get into the email? Can I get a yes in the comments if we want to move on here and get into this email? If any of you guys are just tuning in, I was going to share a couple of emails that produce this here. And it's actually what I call the lazy email marketing strategy. Because it didn't take me much time. It took me less than 10 minutes to write these. And I'm not a good writer, by the way. Cool. We got a lot of yeses. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. I'm going to read this. All right. Hey there, garden lovers. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. It's hard to believe it's already May 13th and summer is right around the corner. And speaking of summer, I started creating a new flag collection for Memorial Day and 4th of July. Check out my new garden patriotic flags here. Now that's a link that goes to that actual flag, okay, or the flags. These were so much fun to create, and I'm sure the birds are gonna love them. Smiley face. You see that? There's no emoji, right? I'm not using an emoji. I'm using the good old text, right? Because that's what we're all used to. We're texting each other. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Dorothy, proud garden lover. P.S. If you haven't visited my shop in a while, you can see all my latest creations here. Done. That's the email, guys. Who here thinks they can write an email like that? Who here thinks they can take that right there, what I just gave you, use it as a template? Because all I did there, guys, was I said, hey, they're garden lovers, right? Because they signed up to win a garden loving, lover bundle, right? They're gardeners. I know that. And what do gardeners usually like too? Birds, right? So basically just start off. This was time sensitive or time relevant, I guess. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend, because it was the day after Mother's Day. And it says, it's hard to believe it's already May 13th and summer is right around the corner. True, right? That's what I'm feeling. That's what I would say to a friend. And speaking of summer, I started creating a new flag collection for Memorial Day and 4th of July. Check out my new garden patriotic flags here. Now, one thing I would say, and this is something I've learned over the years, is you see how I put check out my new garden patriotic flags here? That's in NLP world. I'm not going to get into that, but it's kind of like where you're saying a direct command to do something. I'm not big into that, but it works. I'm basically giving them a call to action, and I'm basically saying, check out my new garden patriotic flag here. So I'm basically saying, do it. Like, go check it out, right? Not like if you want to, like, yeah, you can throw that in there, but I don't want to say an if a lot. Now I've done it, but I don't like to say it a lot. So that's just a camera here. There I am. I'm back. That was weird. Okay. So that's the email. We're talking 104 characters. All right. Now, let's see here. Let me show you something else. Okay. Now, this right here, this is the email trick I wanted to share with you guys. Okay. A lot of people would stop there. They'd send the one email and they're done. Okay. They're done. It's going to send that one email. This was the thing that I wanted Everbee to include. Now, here's going to be another little shameless plug. If you guys are not using Everbee, you're going to want to start using Everbee. And if you go through our link, you can go ahead and try it for free. But then once you get in, you're going to want to upgrade to the growth plan. And when you do, we will get a cup of coffee. If you would like to, let me see if I've got a little banner for that. I'm pretty sure it's here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. If you want to give it a try, just go to brandcreators.com/Everbee. All right. And this here is now inside of their email program. And I'm very happy to say that I had something to do with it, because when they first rolled out this, before it even was rolled out, I was helping them with like what I would want to see as an email marketer and using it for Etsy. And the one thing that they didn't even have on the timeline was resend to unopens. And I've been resending to unopens for a long time, and it works really good. So imagine this. You send out an email 7 a.m. in the morning. The next day, 24 hours have passed, and you have, let's just say that you had 20% of people open the email, which is actually, that's a good number. If you can get 20% opens on your email list, you're doing good. You're doing like average. You get above that, you're doing above average. Okay. But what I learned was there's people that are just busy. They just don't see it. And then they get a whole bunch of other emails piled on, and they're never going to see it. Right. Their inbox is full with like 1,000 messages. Okay. So what I do is I go in the next day, usually the morning after, 24 hours later, and I will send an email to the people who did not open the email. And from that, I'm generally getting another 8, 10, sometimes 15% more opens that I wouldn't have gotten. And that also leads to, when someone opens an email, more clicks on the links inside the email. This here is a ninja hack. This is something that like no one is doing this. I guarantee it. Okay. If you're using email right now, even if you only have 100 people and you get 20 people to open it, send it the next day to the unopens, to those 80 people that didn't open, and I bet you're going to get people to open. So this is something that I do with pretty much everything. Even my brand creators emails, I will do that. If I'm not sending an email back to back, I send one out on Monday. Tuesday morning, I come in, I send to unopens. And then Wednesday, I've got a fresh email. Thursday, I send to the unopens. Friday, I got a fresh email. Saturdays to the unopens. Right now, I do change the title a little bit, so it's a little different. I might have to change the wording because I might have said, hey, it's Thursday, or happy Thursday or something. I might say happy Friday or whatever, right? So I have to change that up. Let me know in the comments, is this right here, is this worth liking this video? Is this worth giving this a like? Is this worth subscribing to the channel? Because this is the kind of stuff that we share here for free. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Chris, are you still there, by the way?
I am.
Okay. Chris is still there. It's weird not seeing Chris. I got to be honest. I think he's there, but I'm not sure if he's there. Anything we want to talk about here, Chris, before we move on?
Yeah. So two things specifically with Everbee email. How do you add a hyperlink like that?
Oh, so inside, again, I don't have it loaded to show you. But basically when you go into Everbee email, you're just going to highlight the text that you want. And then there's a little chain on the bar next to it, or next to where you're editing. And then you'll just go ahead and you'll click on that. It'll pop up a thing that says, link. And then you'll just copy in your link that you want to direct them to, and you're good to go. And then you hit save. You're done.
And then is there a particular reason you're not using images and it's just text, other than the fact that you are lazy?
Yes, there is a reason I'm not using images. Images, once again, just like a template that has banner and has all that stuff, is going to hurt the deliverability. Now, do I never send an image? Once in a while, but I also feel like you might have curiosity of like, I wonder what the flag looks like, right? I wonder what that patriotic flag looks like. I wonder what that summer cardinal flag looks like. So it's a little bit of a curiosity piece too. And it's just a click. And if you click on it, you can go over to the listing and you can see what it is. So I'm describing it, but I'm not showing it. But I think deliverability is a big one for me. I would say out of 20 emails, I might include one image, like 1 out of the 20. And I always see that my open rate is less because it's not getting delivered to the inbox. So I would rather just not include those images. But that's my preference. You can play around with it yourself, but that's the main reason, and the curiosity piece.
Well, so not only do you get lower deliverability because you're including more code, right?
Yep.
But HubSpot has looked at this over the years, and every time they do the survey, when you ask somebody, do you want to have images in email? They always say yes, right? But when they actually look at the data, turns out you get higher deliverability when you don't, but you also get a higher click-through rate. So more people click the link. And that could partially be because of what you just said, Scott, the curiosity, but also they just click it because it's the only thing to click. And a lot of times when people include images, they include multiple images and you're showing 4 or 5 products, you overwhelm people. They go, oh, this is really cool. It's really pretty. I'm going to come back to it later, versus having to just click the link and then go make those choices for you. So it's not that you shouldn't ever do it. Just keep in mind that doing it the easy way actually works out to be more effective, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. And someone had commented and said, not sure Everbee email is sophisticated enough for anything other than its Etsy subscriber functions, sadly. Well, I kind of would disagree. It's going to get better. Again, I'm working with the development team pretty much side by side. Like if there's anything that you want added, let me know and I can kind of relay that on. But they're actually going by priority of like what is the most important for the Etsy seller right now. But there is talk that it's going to be built for Shopify, for your own website. There's already tagging right now. That was never there before either. Like you can literally, if someone, again, I don't want to get too nerdy here, but you can literally on the link, I can tag people that click on that link. So imagine this, and I do this a lot for brand creators. So if someone clicks on a link, I can add a tag that says that they clicked on the link. That means that they're interested, right? They clicked on it. They might not have purchased, but they're interested. And now I might have had 1,000 people open the email, but I had 100 clicks. Well, now I can send an email to just the 100 people that clicked, right? That wasn't there a month ago. It's there now. So they're really, really iterating and coming up with more features, and they will. And I know for a fact they want to be bigger than just Etsy for an email service. So yeah. And yeah, their landing pages you put in there, different. Yeah, there's a lot that they're going to be doing. I will say that. But right now for the average person, even myself, this is all we're using for my wife's shop right now. That's it. I came from ConvertKit over to here. So there's a lot of cool things. The other thing is for the Etsy seller, you can preload in some of your best-selling products. So there's some cool things that you can do there, but we're not going to get into all that stuff today. But yes, I am a fan. And here's the thing. If you outgrow Everbee, guess what you can do? Export all your emails and then import them into another provider. You can do that too, right? So there's a lot that we can do. All right, so let's move on. And again, I'm going to mention this. If you guys are digging this, go ahead and smash the like button. If you want more content like this, make sure that you subscribe. And if you want the resource that really kind of goes through this entire strategy that we've already talked about, we've put it into a guide. So if you want that email marketing guide, which also goes over the list building strategy that we just covered. Put email in the comments. Just type email in the comments and we'll make sure that you get a copy. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so this is what I wanted to share with you because this is crazy, okay? So if you look at New Flag Summer, okay, that's the original one that actually, I'm going to show you that email next. I kind of went a little bit ahead of myself. The New Flag Summer, that was inspired, this email was inspired by a reply that I got back, or my wife got back. And then it inspired me to write this email. So I wrote this email, okay, and it had a 31.51% open rate. And mind you, that's about, I think there's about 4,300 people on this list. So 31.5% opened the email. 5.9% of people clicked on the links in the email. Okay. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy. Resend of New Flag Summer, so the one that was sent, it got sent to 3,001 people. Okay, 3,001. The open rate was 17.89%, 537 more people that you would not have been able to show your email to, because all people do is they send out the one email. I would have missed out on 537 opens and 146 clicks. Here's the deal, man. I get so pumped up about this. People on Etsy right now are waiting for the SEO gods to give them traffic. But do you see right here, you can send 146 people to your listing or your shop with one email? And this is on a resend, by the way. There's actually more, it's probably closer to, I'd have to look at the number, but probably closer to 300, 400 people clicking. Okay. So this is what I mean. People are waiting for SEO to kick in. You don't have to. And do you realize that if you get sales through this, through the email, it's going to push and drive your rankings up higher, and you're going to get more reviews, which is another thing you can use email for. Hey, if you're a past customer, would you do me a great favor? And would you leave us a review over on Etsy? Let us know how we did. We're a small business and we'd really, really like that. Do you think that if you send an email saying that you would get more reviews? And if you get more reviews, your products would probably sell better. And if they sell better, what does that do? It helps us with our ranking. Guys, email is where it's at. I'm sorry. I get really, really fired up, as you guys can tell. Chris, anything you want to speak to that? I mean, I know you're always, kind of a big fan on the resend to unopens, but this is kind of shocking.
I love email. At one point, we had a whole series of stats on how important this is. But I think this is better than that, right? There's like all these industry-wide statistics about, oh, you get XYZ uplift in sales. Do you want another 146 people to see your stuff? Click the button, right? Like it's that simple. And going back to calling you lazy over and over again, right? Like if all you had to do to get another 146 people, and how many additional sales did that result in? I think you texted me yesterday. It was another handful of sales too, right?
It was 4.
Right. So
it wasn't even sales. It's 4 orders. You know what I mean? I mean, everything I go by is like the orders, like one order is like, could be 2, 3 products because everything we sell, and we get a lot of orders that are bigger like that.
And how long did it take you? So you open up Everbee email, you click the button, and maybe you change Wednesday to Thursday, right?
Yeah, I don't even think I did. The only thing I did in the email I changed was the title. That's all I did. I just changed the headline. And I just think I changed the front of it. So yeah, it's like literally I just changed that because there was nothing that was time sensitive, or there was nothing that was like that happened that you would have referenced that it was the wrong day or something. You know what I mean? So it probably, not even exaggerating, took me 1 minute.
And I think that's, so how would you like 4 orders for 1 minute's worth of work, right? Like, I think if we could just do that over and over again, we would. And with resend on opens, you can to some extent. we found found that out when we changed email providers recently. We said, hey, you haven't opened an email in a while. You want to go get it? Just goes into perpetuity. But I think even if you just send it once, you see how powerful it is. And yes, you're not going to get the same open rate, right? You can see here that we got a 17% instead of a 30%, but you get an additional big group of people when you do that. And people will always ask us, Scott, well, why do you bother? Aren't you just going to annoy people? And first of all, no, because either your subject line didn't resonate with them or they just missed it right the first time. And two, when you do this, you actually get thanked by customers. And one of the things you and I get yelled at for when we talk about email marketing is we send a lot of emails. Scott, why do we send a lot of emails?
Because no one is really paying attention to you. And we all think that people see everything that we send and they don't, right? The opens tell you that, right? Out of 4,000 plus people, 30% opened, which is actually pretty high. But 70% of those people, 3,000 people, did not. That's why. And the way that we do it with unopens, we're not annoying the people that already opened, right? They didn't read the email. They didn't open the email.
And in this case, it's not going to anybody who did, right? Exactly. And so it's not like we're sending 500 emails on the same day. We sent one day, and then anybody who we know didn't see it gets another chance at it. And all we're trying to do is get their attention. You were talking about, somebody had mentioned, the human touch in your email, that 104-word email that we were talking about, is the reason that works. And we have an acronym that we've jokingly used since 2019, which is CCCTA, right? CCCTA. We need to capture their attention. We need to create a connection. And we need a call to action, right? And when you send these emails, in the body of the email, you can create the connection and call to action. But if we're not getting their attention because they didn't open the email and the subject line is the place that we're doing that, then we get another whack at it because they didn't open it and they don't know what the offer is at that point anyway. So there's no reason not to click the button, spend I'm going to call it, Scott, 90 seconds, because you were probably thinking about it before you did it. Spend the 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Letting something load, maybe.
Right. You walked out of the room, filled up your coffee, came back, right?
Yeah. I was like,
like,
oh, that thing's loading. I
was hoping we were going to get a real nice thick sip. And spend the 2 minutes, get 4 more orders. Like that's the answer. You're not going to annoy anybody. And that at the end of the day is what this is all about.
And I like that Dream Talking with Vicky says, this has been priceless advice. Many thanks. You rock. Thank you. Dream Talking with Vicky. We appreciate you. And I know that you're on most of these live streams. So we appreciate you and appreciate you saying that you're getting value. And if anybody else is getting value, smash that like button for us so we get a little more reach on this live stream. We'd really appreciate that. So who wants to see the new flag summer email? Another lazy email that I just had to force myself to write. Not really. It actually wrote itself. Who wants to see that one, or should we wrap it up? Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that email, and I can kind of walk you guys through it.
Scott, well, while we're waiting to see if people want to see another example here, the other question that I saw pop up is, so you're sending this, right? It's the new flag summer email campaign.
Yep.
Are you sending this to a single product?
Oh, yes and no. Okay. So, and I'll actually share that because I didn't really point that out in that last email. Actually, let me go back to that email real quick and I'll show you. And I'm glad that you brought that up. Okay. So inside of this email, you're seeing where it says, check out my new garden patriotic flags here. Okay. Now, you can't technically send people to a category with your link, which I think needs to be fixed. Okay. Because I would like that. But what I did there, because it does say my patriotic flags, is I sent them to the category with flags and it's going to show the most current ones. Okay. So basically it's at the I'm sorry, it's to the top of the page because they're fresh. They were newly added. Let's say that. So I just sent them to the main page and I know that those flags are going to be there. In the example I'm going to share with you with the, I think it's the summer flag one. I'll show you how you would direct them to a single product. So if you just launched a single product, it would be something like, check out my new garden patriotic flag here, right? And then what you would do is you would go to that listing, you would go to the share. They have like a little built-in bar at the top that says, your share and save link for this listing. You would click that. That would be the link for that particular call to action. But then always in the bottom, in the PS, I'm generally saying something like, if you haven't visited my shop in a while, you can see all my latest creations here. And that goes directly to the main shop.
So wait, did you just say you can't send to a category?
Yeah, I don't believe you can, unless they've changed it.
Because the categories do have a specific link. That may be a weird thing with the share and save link. But if you go in, you have a section ID.
You can't do it with a share and save, but I believe you can do it in the other way, but you can't do it with a share and save.
Yeah. So if you want to send to a specific category, you can. And all you would do to get that link is just go to your shop. And if you click on the category, what you'll see in the address bar at the top is that it adds a little chunk to the end of that URL. That's the section ID. And if you do that, then you can do that. The way they have share and save set up right now, I think, is you either go and you get the link from the product or you send them to the store. But I think the way that you are doing that is kind of interesting.
But Chris, you wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't recommend someone do that because you're not going to get the benefits of the share and save.
Exactly.
So don't even do it. Don't do it, guys.
Yeah, just go in and send them to the most recent products. Just go in, update your product or whatever, and it'll pop up at the top of the store, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because if you do that, you're not going to get credit, and who wants to do that? Right? You want to be able to track it, and you want to be able to save money on your listing fees when people go there. So yeah, you can send them to a category. You just will not be able to track them. So, and you won't get share and save.
Well, and you don't get the refund on the fees.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you won't save on that either. Yeah. Okay. And who knows, maybe they'll change that. You can do it to a direct listing. That's the interesting thing, right? It'd be very simple for them just to add something. When you click into one of your categories, it shows that bar and it says link to category, right? Like, that would be easy, Etsy. But it's not. So individual listings, you can. Your main shop, you can. That's as far as it goes.
Perfect.
And yeah, so wouldn't those two links be the same? In my case, yes, these are the same. Okay. But if I was sending someone to a one-off sweatshirt that we just created and it's only the one, then I would go to that listing. I would create that. And I've done that. And then in the PS, I would then send it to the homepage. So that way there, I can dump people into the entire shop. So then it would be two separate links, two different locations. Hopefully that helps. Okay, cool. It looks like, did we have some yeses on that? Yes, I see we did. Show that email. See it. Okay, cool. You got it. All right, we'll do it. All right, so let me go ahead and advance through here. Now, let me just tee this up a little bit though. I sent that first email, okay, and basically said, hey, got a patriotic flag and, whatever, right? Here they are. Go check them out. Well, my wife had someone get the email, purchased, but then said, hey, could you create this certain flag or this style? And she was like, yeah, I probably could. And then she created it. And when she created it, she's like, maybe I should do this, for other, like in this case, it would be for a cardinal, and then it might be for a robin, and then it'll be different birds, let's say, right? And so she's like, yeah, I could do that. And then maybe I'll make a collection out of it, right? And so she told me this. She's like, yeah, I had a lady come out and she said, hey, I bought one, but can you do one for this? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, and I did it. And then 5 minutes later, she bought it. So she was like, okay, I got paid to create one, and now I've got another thing in my store. And I go, yes, and I've got another reason to email people. So here we go. So this is kind of how it was inspired. Okay, so I said, good morning, garden lover fam, smiley face. After I sent the email the other day about the new patriotic flags, I received a request. One of my past customers wanted a garden flag with a cardinal hanging out on the beach for summer. I created this cardinal summer flag here. So there's the example. That flag is the one that was created for that customer. one listing, share and save link for that listing. Okay. So that's the example there that I wanted to kind of share before. So of course I got inspired and created a new summer garden flag collection with different birds and this new design. Okay. You can check them all out here. Now I didn't hyperlink that here to show you. This here I did in my text doc and I just colored it. I color coded it there. You would just hyperlink. You can check them out here. That should be a link. In my email, it was a link. This is so much fun to create. And now I'm probably going to get a few for my garden. Smiley face. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Dorothy, proud garden lover. P.S. If you haven't visited my shop in a while, you can see all my latest creations here. That's the email. And that one, I didn't do the numbers, but it's probably roughly around the same 104, 110 words, maybe, give or take. That's it. Okay. And that one there got another six plus orders. I didn't know. Actually, it's more than that. I think it was more like 6 and then 4. I think it was like 10 orders because I sent to the unopens. This was the one that we sent to the unopens. We did the other one too, but this is the one I shared with you, the stats. So can we write emails? Do you have to be like a award-winning writer? I'm not. Trust me. Would my English teacher be okay with the way that I'm writing here? No, probably give me a bad grade because it's not grammatically correct, right? Who writes like this in an essay? No one. Chris, you could probably critique the heck out of this, or at least your mother could. Probably give me an F.
Yeah, my dad would probably be the one, even though he's not the teacher. He's the grammar Nazi in the house. But it's one of those things, like, it doesn't matter if it works, right? And human beings talk to each other this way, which is why this works. It's weird to say human beings talk to each other, because that's, not something a real person would say. But it's the way you would talk to a friend. And I think the thing that people miss in all marketing, specifically email, because of how we get marketed to in email, is that this is about creating a connection and a relationship. And if we write the email the same exact way that we would write it to a friend, you get that feeling when you are reading the email. So Scott, if you were writing these, you said, "Hey, Lise," right? Like, "Hey, Chris," right? That's how you would write an email. You'd say, "Hey, dude, check this out. I found this really cool thing over here." In this case, it happens to be our thing. So you're like, "Hey, go check this out. I think you might like it. We have a shared interest. You're on our email list. You're clearly into gardening. So go check this thing out. You might think it's cool." That's all we have to do.
That's it. Yeah. It's not harder than that. It's pretty much that. And so whenever I'm sitting down now, if I get stuck and I'm like, what can I write an email on? You know what I do? I go back to my old emails and I see what I wrote about, and I can get inspired by those emails. Sometimes I can even recycle those emails. Something that I did 4 weeks ago, I can just pull back up, change it out a little bit, and boom, I got another one to send. But here's the deal. If you're creating new products in your shop and you're focusing and targeting a specific niche, which we promote, that's what we suggest that you do, then it becomes effortless. Because if you're working on a new design and you create it and put it up in your shop, you can let people know that you did that. And the people that you're letting know, they're into the thing that you're telling them about, right? And so this goes not just for Etsy, this goes for just business in general, right? Like, you want to follow up with people that are in your market on a regular basis. And I've talked about this before. I've purchased Untuck It shirts before. And once I purchase something, I'm on their email list and I get an email every single day. Every single day I get something. I have not unsubscribed, but I've only bought in a few shirts, but I still look at them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I might buy one, I might not. The other one is fresh, clean teas. Like, I bought them. I get an email from them just about every day. I don't unsubscribe because I might actually, and sometimes I'll click in. I'll go, oh, there's a bundle of shirts there. But how much are they? This, that. I get free shipping this weekend. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll do it. And then I'll either buy or I won't. But I don't unsubscribe. I'm still interested. I bought shirts from them before. I might want to buy more in the future. But that's why it's so important that we build product lines to people that are interested in a niche. And that's why we're just a big fan of that. Just a big fan of that. All right. I think we went down the road of email pretty deep here, pretty far. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in there. I did have something else I wanted to share, actually a couple things if we have time. I was going to go over, Chris, for another topic here is the 4-day Etsy profit sales push strategy, and explain that, how we can, again, use email, and we can do it over a 4-day period to really accelerate sales. So that's the thing I wanted to kind of go through again. Who here would like to hear how we run a 4-day, what we call profit push, and kind of like what that looks like and how you can run one of these and really, really get some sales coming in the door, but also where you can accelerate a product that's brand new and potentially get it ranking faster. Who wants to hear that? Chris, any quick questions before we move on?
No, I think that was it. And somebody said, Scott, that last line of your email here is genius, which is, if you haven't visited my shop in a while, you can see all my latest creations here. And even if we're not sending a direct promotion, we typically like to include a PS. We refer to that as a hybrid email, right?
Yep.
So like, hey, found this really cool video on gardening. Check that out. We send them over to a YouTube video. PS, if you haven't checked out our garden flags yet, you might want to go take a look at that, right? And if somebody makes it down that far, we've created enough connection with them in that email, then it's just a chance for us to pick up a few clicks and potentially a few sales.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Let's do it then. Let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, cool. All right, so this is what I call the 4-day Etsy profit push. And this is where you can accelerate your sales. If you are launching a new product, this is something that can really, really accelerate sales. And also, it's going to help you rank in search, because what does Etsy want? They want sales. And if you can show that a product is getting sales, there's a good chance that you're going to get noticed by the algorithm, and the algorithm is going to push you up in the rankings because, well, you're making sales. The other thing that will happen is when you get sales, you're probably going to get some reviews. What are reviews going to do for you? They're going to increase your conversion rates. What does that mean? Increases your sales. And when you increase your sales, what's that going to do? It's going to increase your rankings. You see how that all works? So there's a strategy that I've been using for years, and we call it the 4-day profit push. And I've used this across multiple niches. I've actually sold millions of dollars through this 4-day profit push. So let me break it down for you. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need an email list. Now, before you go running away because you don't have an email list yet, I'll give you an idea on how we've done in the past, but also how you can do it very, very simply. Before I do, though, let me walk through what the strategy looks like. So let's just assume you do have an email list, okay? And if you don't, you're going to build one. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come up with a reason why you are going to do a promotion. Why are you going to do a sale? I want you to think about like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Memorial Day sale. Like, why is there a sale going on in your business? And it could be just, it's my birthday this week, I'm going to have a birthday sale. It could be whatever. It doesn't have to be a major holiday, but you are going to need that, because the thing that makes the 4-day profit push so effective is there is a start time and there's an end time. There's a deadline. Deadlines are probably one of the most important and powerful things in this strategy that really, really makes it work. And you're going to probably realize, if you follow this strategy, that on day 4 of this little campaign, you're probably going to get more sales there than you did on day 1. Why? Because people react to deadlines. Have you? Let me know in the comments. Do you ever react to deadlines? Something's coming to a close. Maybe you're going to miss out, or maybe you're going to not get the discount, or maybe something's going to expire and you're going to lose the discount, or you're going to lose Kohl's Cash. Anybody hear of Kohl's Cash? I know my wife uses Kohl's Cash, and when it's going to expire, she's going to run over to Kohl's and get her $10 Kohl's Cash. All right. So deadline, we need that. But we also, again, we need the reason that we're going to run this. And the way that I look at it is, we are running this for 4 days, and I am going to communicate to my list that something is happening. Here's why it's happening. And then from there, we're going to remind them up until the end. Okay. That's the basic strategy. Let me get a little bit deeper. So the first email is going to be something along the lines of, I like to kind of start with surprise. I've got something exciting to share, right? So everyone wants to know, like, what's the surprise? The surprise is, hey, I just wanted to let you know it's my birthday this week. And to celebrate, I decided to run a sale on my rustic wood designs. Okay. And let's just say that I'm selling rustic wood signs or rustic wood stuff for the home. Okay. And so from there, I'm going to say, so to celebrate, I'm going to do a 30% off discount on all wood custom signs through, and then I would give the date. Okay. I'm going to have that date. So for the next 4 days, you can take advantage of this and get 30% off. And there's no limit on how many you can get. If you want to get one for a gift, you can do that as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's the link. Talk to you later, Scott. That's it. That's the email. Okay. That's one. The second day of the email is going to be almost the same email, except I'm going to say something like, did you see this yesterday? ? Surprise. And then I'm going to go into that email and say, I sent an email yesterday. I wanted to make sure that you saw it because I'm running this sale, this special. If you missed yesterday's email, I'll copy it below. I don't even have to rewrite the email. I just have to change that front. You see what I did there? Very easy. Okay. Then from there, I'm reminding them about the offer, right? About the thing that's happening. Day 3, basically going to let them know we're starting to come to the end. Okay. And I might even say in the subject line, 1 day left or ends tomorrow, something like that. And then in the email, like, hey, I just wanted to check in. Yes, it's my birthday week. And as I said in the email I sent you yesterday, we are celebrating by giving 30% off on all of our custom wood, reclaimed wood signs. And here's the link that you can get it. It does expire tomorrow night at midnight. So make sure that you get yours. And if you're going to get one for a gift, make sure that you get those in before tomorrow night. If you have any questions, let me know. Scott, right? And then maybe even PS, you could say a little PS in there, something along the lines of, and yes, these can be personalized. So if you wanted to create one for a special loved one, you can use the 30% off discount too. Here's the link, or go here, something like that. Now, the 4th and final day. This one here freaks people out because we send 3 emails in 1 day. And I know, you're probably thinking, well, Scott, people are going to get annoyed with you. No, they're actually not, because most people are not paying attention to you. And I know this because I've been doing this for years. And I have people on the last day that I've sent 3 emails and they say, thank you so much for sending this. I missed all your other emails because I was on vacation, or I don't check emails on the weekend, or whatever, for whatever reason. You're also going to probably get people that don't see these emails until the week later. And they're going to go, I missed the sale. Is there any way I can still get the 30% off? Generally, we say, no, sorry, that's the sale, but we're going to be running another one maybe in 3 weeks or something like that, because we want people to know that we stick to our word. Okay. So on the last day, the deadline day, the title or the subject line is ends tonight, or deadline ends tonight, something like that. And then we're going to say, hey, I just wanted to remind you, tonight is the last night or the last day to get the 30% off discount for my birthday celebration or whatever, right? And then I'm just letting them know it's coming to an end. I'm giving them the link and I'm saying, listen, this is going to end tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be around today. I'll be able to answer them. Like, that's it. Okay. Then that's going to be around, I would say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I like to go early morning. Then from there, I'm going to wait till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That gives it enough time. Then from there, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to send them another email, very similar to the first email that I sent them that morning. Change the subject line a little bit. Maybe it will say 6 hours. Well, it'd be more than that. However many hours it is from there. If it was at 3 o'clock, if it was at 6 o'clock, let's say it was at 6 o'clock, make it easy. 6 hours left or something like that. And then, something to give them the sense of urgency, and then just say, hey, this is always what I say here too. hey, it's Scott again. And I know I'm emailing more than usual, but I didn't want you to miss out on this. If you haven't been reading my emails, go here to get 30% off your custom wood sign, like something like that. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later. Right. That's it. Okay. That's the second email of the day. The third and final email is going to be, I like to go around 9 o'clock PM Eastern 9, if it's going to end at midnight. And then that one there is either final call, something like that, or last chance. And then it's basically just going to say, hey, this is Scott. I know that I've emailed way more than I usually do, but there's a good reason. In 3 hours, this 30% off discount is going to expire, and I didn't want you to miss out. If you're interested, go here. If not, have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Take care, Scott. That's it. And I'm just telling you right now from experience, I've been doing this years. I've done millions of dollars through email from that 4-part sequence. And that has been coined the 4-day profit push. Now you can do this for 3 days. You can do it for 2 days. You can do it for 7 days. I have found that 4 days is generally a good start and stop, because it's enough time to give it where people have to think about it, whatever, or they're just busy, but it also isn't too long where it's like, oh, I'll just wait because they're running it for 7 days, or I'll just wait. They're running it for 2 weeks. I got time, right? So that is the 4-day profit push. And like I said, if you use this, if you install this into your business, even if you do it like once a quarter, it's going to give you an influx in sales if you have the right audience and if you have the email list built that you've been nurturing a little bit over time. Now, I said I was going to tell you how we build the email list and just give you a quick little strategy that you can use that we've used, and that is we use a giveaway. So we will basically take a bundle of our products and we will bundle them together, because we want people to raise their hand for those products. We will then go to Facebook. We will run $5 per day, and we will target people that are in our audience. From there, we will get them to sign up to enter, and from there, they will become part of our email list. That is the strategy at its simplest form. There's some more nuances in there, not much, but that's the gist, and that's how we're able to build email lists in multiple niches, and it's worked very, very well. Chris, did I leave anything out?
All of it out. You left all of what? Okay, now I unmute my microphone and it turns my camera on. We'll go with it. We'll go with it until I just disappear again. No, I think. Oh, I thought it disappeared again. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
No, I think people misunderstand the last day of the profit push, right? That's the thing that I think people tend to push back on the most. Mm-hmm. They say, oh my God, you're sending 3 emails. We talked about this when you were talking, Scott, about sending to unopens. It's kind of the same thing. If we don't let people know, we don't send that 3rd email on the last day, you end up getting a bunch of emails from people saying, hey,
yeah,
I was camping, or I was doing whatever, right? And I forgot, or I saw it in the morning and I forgot.
Yep.
And can I get this? Well, no, because we have to stick to our word, or you'll never believe us ever again, right? And so it goes away at midnight. We're going to run another sale in a couple of weeks, but we can avoid a lot of that if we over email. And actually, I really like the way that you and I have almost always handled that last email. And you touched on this a minute ago, which is, hey, I get it, right? You immediately diffuse 99.9% of people who would say, dude, I've read all of your emails, right? And you just say, hey, I know I'm emailing more than I usually am, but I don't want you to miss this if you haven't taken advantage of it yet. Most people will just say, okay, cool. I know that they're not going to bug me again after this, because you're saying it's the last one for now. And if you can do that, then you make that more effective. The other thing is, what we have noticed is if we just send one email on that last day, we do see a spike in sales because people say that they understand that it's going away.
Sure.
But if we send that 2nd email, we get another little boost. And if we send that 3rd email, that last email that we send, hey, it's going away in like 2 hours or 3 hours, that is usually the email that gives us the biggest boost on that last day, because people actually at that point have to make the decision, because it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And they go, if I don't do it now, I'm going to be asleep and it's going to go away.
Yep.
And it's the same thing you see from Kohl's. Somebody said Michael's does something similar, right?
Yep.
If your Kohl's cash goes away, it's use it or lose it. So everybody goes into Kohl's on the last day of Kohl's cash. All
Yep.
we're doing is bringing that into a virtual environment and saying, hey, go for it.
Yep. Cool. We did have a question here I wanted to answer. It says, don't people get annoyed with so many messages? I know I unsubscribe if I get more than 2 messages a week from the same person, and especially if it starts with ends today. Again, you're not necessarily your customer or your potential customer. Now, me personally, if I'm interested in the person that I signed up with or the company that I signed up with, okay, an example, Untuck It. I get emails from them every single day. Do I read them all? No. Do I unsubscribe? No. Because I might one day want to get a shirt and they have sales that come through. It's just right now I'm not in the market for a shirt. So I think it's to each its own. And I think that question is why a lot of people don't use email, because they think, oh, I don't want to email once a week. They're going to get annoyed. Once a week? You kidding me? They're not paying attention to you. They're paying attention to other people or themselves. They're not paying attention to you, right? So yes, you're going to get people unsubscribe, and that's fine. If they're unsubscribing, that just means that they're not your people for your email list. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're not the ones that are going to want you to communicate with. I send 3 emails a week and sometimes more, depending on what's happening. And I have people that unsubscribe from brand creators, but I have people that stay on the list that have been on the list for 7, 8 years because I'm doing a live stream. They might want to attend that. But I'm also promoting something maybe 2 weeks from now. I'm going to be promoting something and I'm going to get more aggressive with emails, right? But they're going to maybe ignore them or they're going to see them, but they're like, I know Scott's promoting something right now. I'm going to wait until that Douse is out, gets that, kind of done. And then I'll tune back in when he's doing a live or he's doing this or that. Just not the right time. But I think if you're not delivering value, yeah, people are going to unsubscribe. Or there's just a certain type of person that's like, I don't want to hear from them more than twice a week. I'm going to unsubscribe. That's fine. That's fine. I would encourage you, pay attention to people that are email marketing and maybe use that as a learning lesson. Like, I don't look at it necessarily as like I'm going to, oh my gosh, they're marketing to me. Oh my gosh, how dare them try to sell to me? If anything, I turn into a student and I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're doing here. Did it get my attention? Did it get your attention? If it did, note it. Maybe you're going to try that as a subject line. So yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with that. That's why I wanted to bring that up. Thanks for asking.
And Scott, that brings me to my next question that I wanted to bring up with this. And somebody had asked, it was Sherry Poppins. She said, how do you craft your subject lines? And when we're thinking about subject lines, our job is to get somebody's attention. The best way to do that is to do one of 3 things, right? We can either ask a question. We can go in and we can say, hey, did you see this? And that's the one you mentioned, like, did you see this yesterday?
Yeah.
Right. We know that they didn't, but you're still creating the curiosity and capturing their attention that way. The second would be to do what's called leaving an open loop. And TV shows do this really, really well.
All
You
the
get
time.
you get to the end of the season of Breaking Bad, right? And all of the things seem to be working themselves out. And then the DEA finds out that there's a new drug dealer in town, right? That's something that they're leaving for the next season. The other people that do this really well are headline writers for the for lack of a better term, gossip magazines, Scott, that you might find at a checkout aisle. You'll never believe what happened to this celebrity, ... Right. And the easiest way to think about that is when you see an ellipses at the end of something, that's leaving an open loop. So if you see 3 periods at the end, you're creating that desire to have that loop closed. The third one would be to create a controversy. And the easiest way to talk about something like this is to think about like vegans versus carnivores, right? So if we have a carnivore shop on Etsy, or let's say a vegan shop on Etsy, and we want to create a controversy, we could say, the reason I'm considering eating meat again, right? Carnivores have something right, right? Or if we were sending to the carnivore list, we could say meat is murder, ... Right? And we're creating controversy and using an open loop. But if we think about it in one of those 3 things, we just say, can I ask a question? That's the easiest thing. Can I leave an open loop, which creates a little bit of curiosity? Or can I make a statement that's going to create a controversy? And if we do one of those three things, you usually end up with a pretty solid subject line.
Yeah. If you guys want us to do a live stream in the future on literally like creating, headlines, titles, and maybe even email, let me know, let us know. And maybe we'll do a dedicated, little mini training on that. And, even if you guys wanted to like share, like, okay, you have a niche and you want to write emails for that niche, right? Maybe we can sit down, come up with some subject lines and come up with some email copy, for that. So all right, let's move on. I did want to address this though real quick, because this is a no. Can I take an email from a customer and send a marketing email without an opt-in? No, you are not allowed to do that. Can you? Yes. Should you? No. Is it against terms of service? Yes. So you have to get their permission. The way that you would get their permission, or try to get their permission, is to send a message after someone orders and letting them know you received the order. We're working on your order. Thank you for supporting a small business like ours. We really appreciate you. And we'd like to invite you to our VIP club where we do monthly giveaways. We do special discounts, special launch releases, and you would get access to all of that by being a VIP. If you'd like to join that, go to gardenlovervip.com. And I would buy a domain name from GoDaddy or wherever, and I would create a link to the landing page for the VIP, and I would forward it through that GoDaddy link. We did a whole video training on that. I'll actually link that up in the description, so you guys can check that out. And by the way, if you guys want the email guide, if you're coming in late and you didn't see us mention that or hear us mention that, if you want our email marketing guide specifically for Etsy, but it also goes through the strategy of building your list, just put email in the comments. Just put email in the comments, and we'll make sure that we get that over to you. Let's see here. I did want to address one more topic, but it's not about this. But let's answer another couple questions.
Yeah. So Heather Pearsons, which is a name I haven't seen in a while, said, "What if you're saying if you take this freebie or join this contest, we'll put you on our list and then leave it to them to opt out? So you don't want to force them to opt out. You'd say if you join this, then you can opt in."
Yeah.
Right. So you want them to opt in. And Joyce Reed said, "So are you saying I have to spend money on Facebook ads in order to build an email list on Etsy?" The answer is no. You can absolutely use the fishbowl method for free. The thing that you have to keep in mind is if you put even just a few dollars a day into it, you'll grow that list faster. And like you were talking about for the last hour and 32 minutes and 33 seconds, you can take a list that you grow that way and turn it into sales very, very easily. So if you're willing to invest a few dollars, it will massively speed that process up. You then create more sales, which gives you more advertising budget, which then gives you more sales, right? But you can do it for just a few dollars a day. And we've built large lists for what, like $150, $200,
Yeah.
Scott, in a few different niches, and it definitely works. You can also use that same strategy and just find related Facebook groups and go in and talk about it, or Reddit groups or whatever, right? You can post organically in some of these places and get decent results. You're not going to get the same results that you'd get if you put a couple ad dollars behind it.
Yeah.
But you will get some people to opt in.
Let me just, I want to address that. So, I mean, what Chris is saying is true and accurate, but I'm going to ask you, Joyce, I think it was Joyce or whoever, you're launching a business. If you were launching a brick and mortar business, you'd have to spend money. You have to treat this as a business. If you don't have the money to build a list, I'm not saying you can't do it without spending money, but we have to stop thinking about this as it's a hobby or a side hustle that we're not going to put any money into. Like if you spent $150 or $200 on an email list and you attracted the right people and you send email, I don't know how you're not going to be able to make that money back unless you had really bad products, which I can't say for sure that anybody's going to be able to succeed with this. But I'm just saying, like, there's so many people that they go into this thing, and I don't know if it's just Etsy or if it's eBay people. Like, I don't know. Like, where do you ever think that you're going to start a business without spending any money? Like, I don't know. That kind of baffles me at times. And Joyce, I'm not coming at you. I'm addressing this. I've heard this so many times. And I'm just like, if you were going to start a business, would you go into it and say, we're going to start a business for free? It's really hard, right? But we're talking very minimal to get traction. And an email list is a traffic source that you own, right? It's an email list that you own. It's an asset. So I just kind of want to throw that out there for anyone that's thinking that, and try to get you to think a little bit bigger. And I'm not saying thousands of dollars. I'm saying like even just a couple $100. Like ours is like $5 a day for like 14 days.
Yeah, 14 to 30 days, right? So you're talking $75 to $150.
Yeah.
If we can't make that level of an investment to basically immediately recoup it, if we're sending even moderately okay emails, right? Literally rewind this live stream, steal the copy from Scott's lazy email and send it. It will generate sales as long as you're following the niche-based approach and it's something your customers are interested in. Right. And the upside is once those people are on your email list, they are on your email list essentially forever, right? There's a chance they will unsubscribe, but they are there. And we have 100 bites at the apple to be able to start going after those people and turn them into a customer. And we know based on our personal experiences and the data that we see from Etsy and the data that we saw from the Etsy buyer survey, that once we get somebody to buy from us, they come back and buy again. So there's a good chance that $150, Scott, $200 investment, you recoup that by getting one customer out of that email list, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and if we went back to the slide that I shared, like, I mean, some of those people have been on the list for a long time and they're repeat buyers. So one customer can pay for your email list build, right? Like one time, and then it's paid for. And then guess what? Like our email list that's been built with over 4,000 people on it right now, I'm not in debt on it. It's already paid for itself and it keeps paying. Every time I send email, I'm generally going to make sales. So like, you can't look at it like I put money up front and I don't want to do that. I just want to do free. So I'm going to go spam groups, or I'm going to go try to post it in a community and try to get people to join my stuff. It's like, I'd rather get people that see it and then they want to join. I'm not like forcing it upon them. So anyway,
one other thing, Scott, before we move on. So we were talking about share and save and that they don't give you the option to select a category on the website. Apparently they do inside the seller app.
Interesting.
Just to drive people batty. So we'll have to check that out because that would make our lives a heck of a lot easier.
I'll test that for sure. I'll test that. And if that's the case, we can take the link that's created through the app and just even email it to yourself. And then you can copy and paste it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That way you got it. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. All right, cool. So any other thing on that before we move on? I got one other thing that I wanted to share that doesn't necessarily pertain to this, but it's just, again, I got to get it out there. And if anybody sees this, we'll probably cut this clip out too and share it separately. But yeah. Okay, cool. And guys, like I said, I mean, some of you already put it in there. If you want the email guide, the guide that we talked about, just put email in the comments. If you're not using Everbee email, I would definitely encourage you to sign up, at least even just to try it for free. Obviously you get your product research, you get your keyword research, all of that stuff, but you also now get the email component, which is built in, which is really, really useful. So if you go to brandcreators.com/Everbee, you can go ahead and you can sign up there for free, but you can, once you become a growth member, you're also able to, I believe it's collect up to 500 subscribers with that same plan. You don't have to pay any more. So that's pretty good. So definitely check that out if you haven't done so already. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get to my last little piece here that I want to share. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Yes, there it is. Okay, cool. All right. That's a good one. Let's see here. All right. Well, we've got to talk about people posting that you could do a side hustle, make $16,000 a month selling Taylor Swift stuff or trademarked stuff. If you are a seller, a new seller, I see new sellers falling into this trap a lot. You do not want to do it. Taylor Swift has been known to sue people, and she's been known to get really aggressive with her lawyers. And now, well, people are saying that you should sell Taylor Swift stuff and you can make $16,000 as a side hustle. And that was said right here. And it says Taylor Swift UK Tour 2024. This side hustle for Swifties can earn up to $16,000. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that this is even being promoted. So this was published recently, like just the other day. And it says right here, Taylor Swift's UK Tour in 2020 sparked unique economic opportunities for her dedicated fan base known as Swifties. But right here, I'm going to skip to this. This report indicates that some sellers on platforms like Etsy have been earning up to $16,000 from this unexpected side hustle, which is absolutely bonkers. Now, right here, they're talking about like trademarking stuff, but like the friendship bracelets, that's what this is. This is what this girl's creating, or this person is creating. Swifties, 1989. I can almost guarantee you that those are trademarked. And if you sell this, you might get away with it for a little bit of time. But what could happen is you could get sued. And then there could be a lawsuit. And then you could get banned and suspended from Etsy. I actually did a video reaction to another lady who was selling Taylor Swift stuff, and she got banned. And she was making, I think, upwards of $10,000 per month. Boom, automatically banned, suspended, and cannot sell on the platform again from selling stuff with Taylor Swift. So this just is crazy to me that, look at this right here. So this is Canadian, 5705, all of these, right? So this person is selling all of this stuff, $190 for the set, featuring the 11 venues of the Eras Tour. Bracelets sell for $11 for single. Okay. Sellers offer designs ranging from simple bead patterns featuring Taylor's initials or album names to elaborate pieces. And I can't believe that this website right here, this website is actually saying that this is a good idea. I think they could be liable for basically saying publicly, this is a good thing. Like, this is happening and you should do it because you can make up to $16,000 per month as a side hustle. And I'm here to tell you, run from this idea. Don't even consider it for a second. And this doesn't just go for Taylor Swift. This is actually going to be for other artists. And you've probably heard of the other artists out there, any of the country artists that are out there that are doing really well right now, or maybe even a TV show. So if you're a fan of like Yellowstone, I've seen people start to sell Yellowstone merch. Can't do it. Can't do it. So the warning here is, don't believe everything you read. Don't be misled by people saying you can do it. Oh, they're too big. They won't sue you. They've got bigger things to worry about. Not true. Taylor Swift is saying specifically that she will take you down. Not just her entire team, which, by the way, I think I seen in that, I think she did $5 billion on that tour. And I know you're probably saying, but she's got enough money. Why does she care? I think it's more about the principle, about people taking her stuff that is trademarked now. And you might say, well, how can you trademark Swiftie? You can. If you've got enough money, you can pretty much trademark anything that you want. So the warning here is, don't sell things that are trademarked. Use common sense. Use common sense. If you know that Disney is a brand name, probably shouldn't sell it, even though you might see other people selling it. It's tempting, I know, because a lot of people are making money, just like this situation. $16,000. And now someone's writing about it saying you should do it. And if they don't see this video, which they probably won't, they could do it. And guess what? They might make some money, but they might also find themselves with a lawsuit of $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million because they violated a trademark and they went against what is supposed to happen when you have a trademark and you're not abiding by the intellectual property. And it's been known that Etsy will shut you down as well if it's reported that you are selling counterfeit goods. Chris, what's your thoughts on the Taylor Swift $16,000 side hustle?
Other than the heart attack that you just gave me by by sharing that over. So Scott, I don't know if you saw this, but I think it was December of last year. USA Today, of all places, and what was this? What was this outlet that we were just looking at?
Oh, that one there.
This is not, like IBT or whatever, right? Yeah. Like, okay, some random website isn't necessarily the go-to source for legal advice or news, right? So maybe you ignore this, maybe you write this off. USA Today wrote a similar article back in, I think it was December of 2023, that was called "Could Selling Taylor Swift Merchandise Open You Up to a Trademark and Copyright Infringement?" And they have a whole section in that article. They basically say, yeah, it could, but you might be able to get away with it in these specific circumstances, like inspired by. But also, that's kind of a gray area, and maybe you don't want to do it, right? Yeah. Don't do it. If you didn't create it, don't do it. Even if you are right? Even if she didn't have Swifty's trademark, which she does, even if she hasn't been going after people who were infringing on her trademarks since 2015, right? And people will say, oh, well, why is she doing that? She's worth billions of dollars. She sold $5 billion. Because if you don't go after people, then you lose your trademark or you can lose your copyright because you're not enforcing it, right? And that's what happened in the Luke Combs story. And you were talking about that, where Luke Combs apologized, gave the lady some money because she was a small-time Etsy seller, right? But if you don't go after those things in court, you can lose the ability to protect those things, even if we pretended that none of those things existed, right? Are you willing to be the test case for that?
No.
Do you think you have enough money to fight Taylor Swift in court? Even if you're correct and you fall into a weird gray area where you can sell it, do you want to try to fight Taylor Swift's lawyers in court? The answer is no. She has unlimited funding, right? You have whatever you're making on Etsy to pay your attorney. Is there a chance you could get a real steal on an attorney because somebody just really doesn't like Taylor Swift? Yeah. But chances are they're just going to outspend you to a point where you stop selling it anyway. So why sell it in the first place? Come up with original ideas. Come up with original things. Don't just jump on a trend and say, oh, they're not going to find me. Would you ever think about that way if we were talking about murder?
Right.
No. Right. You're like, oh, the cops are really busy with this immigration thing, or they're just pulling people over, so they're not ever going to catch me. No, you wouldn't do it. And it would be dumb to think that it is. But we think that because we're only selling $7,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 a year on Etsy of something, that nobody is going to find us. Well, all her attorneys have to do is go to Etsy, type in Swifty and see what comes up. Go, that's not ours. That's not ours. That's not ours. And they have a whole list of everybody that's doing it. This is just silly. And the thing that drives me even more nuts about this, Scott, is what is the category this article is in? Personal finance. Yeah. Right. It should be called personal bankruptcy, because the only thing that's going to happen if you do this, the best case scenario, they take all of your profits. The worst case scenario, they take your house, your car, your dog, and it turns into a country song that Taylor Swift can then sing about.
Yeah. I would stay away from it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Hopefully and we'll probably chop this up as a separate video. We'll put it out separately so we can warn any of the new sellers, because I know for a fact there's still some, I'm not going to mention any names, but some Etsy coaches that are still recommending finding trending stuff, teetering the line, and just getting in and getting out. And I'm not a fan of that. So I just always like to bring attention to, these types of articles or things that are being posted online, because I think it needs to be addressed. So yeah. Chris, One last thing I would say also is just a little update on our Josh Silverman video. I think how many views is that at currently? Are we at 20,000 yet? We've got like over 600 comments. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, guys, we're still working to get some type of communication with the people at Etsy and the people that actually can get us answers. We're going to go ahead and drop the video link in this description as well. If you haven't already, we're going to want you to like it and to comment on that video. The video was us trying to bring to Josh Silverman, the CEO of Etsy, some of the concerns that Etsy sellers are having by not having any communication once they are told that their account is suspended or banned. And so all that we're asking for is answers and to a solution that can help anyone that is running into getting their account suspended or banned and not getting any response as to why. And I'm talking sellers, like in some, and I would say probably in 50% or more, there's probably a legitimate cause for those suspensions. Not saying that, but we want the ones that there wasn't any issue and they were doing really well on Etsy for 7-8 years. And then they had a balance that they had on another account for $7. And then they just take their entire accounts, which it kind of really shocks me that every account is kind of linked together. So another little tip here for you. If you are going to set up a secondary shop, I would not set them up in the same name and the same address because it's going to tie them all together. So if one account gets flagged, it's like you're getting all your accounts flagged. So just be careful with that. But yes, we need your help with that. Chris, did you find the number? What are we at for that?
Yeah, it's up over 25,000.
25,000. That's gotten a little bit more momentum. And then how many likes and how many comments so far? Do you know that?
Let me pull that up specifically.
Yeah.
So 25,000 views.
Nice.
And it doesn't want to load the likes. 1,400 likes.
Nice.
On 25,000 views, which is great. And 563 comments.
Okay.
So I would say go over. Check it out if you haven't already. Even if you haven't shared your story in the comments, share your story in the comments there. You don't have to watch the whole thing again if you've seen it already, but go ahead and share your story in the comments if you've run into an issue with it, or if you just think it's silly, the way that they handle seller suspensions. And Scott, I know we talked on the live last week all about, actually it was the live that we did on Friday. And if you guys haven't seen this yet, Etsy talked about how if a listing or a shop gets flagged by their AI, it definitely 100% gets human reviewed, despite the fact that when we looked at what an average number of employees would be that they would have looking at something like that, they would have to do one every 3 minutes without ever breathing, going to the bathroom, or eating lunch. We know that they're not doing that, right? So if you think that is silly, or if you have a suspension story to share, go ahead, go over there and share that in the comments for us so that we have as much ammunition as possible to tackle this once and for all.
Yeah. And I would say too, if you have a story and you think it's worthy of us to share it, highlight it, and bring another, bit of attention to your story, like I did with Vlad from Tag Pup Tag, whatever, I forget what it is now. How he was suspended, and he was $100,000 a month business, and he just went back and forth with them. But I highlighted his video, and it's gotten some attention. But we're just looking to get the attention out there for someone on Etsy to give us some answers, so we can have a conversation about what we can do and what people can do to get more than what we're getting for support. So anyway, I think that's it, Chris. I think we did good here. We did pretty good with you being just the voice today. We had to deal with that. So no, you're not going to get back in there, Chris. Nice try. Very nice try. So Chris, he's in an underground, undisclosed area right now. Actually, Chris is at an e-commerce event, Sellers Summit. I'll just give you where he's at. But also, Chris shared with me some Temu. That's how you say it, I guess, by the way. It's not Temu.
That's what I was told this week. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Temu. Got a little bit of insider info from someone that knows what their strategy is moving forward. And it's pretty crazy. So we might have to do a dedicated little live stream talking about what you learned from this little insider of Temu or Temu. I think Temu and Temu is going to be like niche or niche. And Chris,
Temu is the posh way of saying it.
I'm just going to go out there and say, I've said niches are in the, or riches are in the niches. It doesn't sound the same if you say riches are in the niches.
I think it's riches are in the niches.
Doesn't sound good. I'm going with niches. I don't care. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to own it because riches are in the niches, baby. All right. Let's get out of here, Chris. I know that you probably got to get back to the event. I'm not quite sure what you got going on over there. But today is Thursday. That's the time that we were doing this. We are going to go back to Wednesday, I believe, next week. One thing I will say is also, if you are interested in going through our one-day email list class, you can. You can just go to brandcreators.com/one day. And if we could put that banner back up there, there it is. Look at that. brandcreators.com/one day. And that is going to be our one-day email list class where we take you through a case study of us building a list from scratch. We did it for one of our students. And we show you everything as far as like how to brainstorm your bundles all the way to, creating your images in Canva, from getting everything set up on your landing page and your giveaway page, your thank you page, and then setting up your Facebook ad creative, and then getting everything to go live. And then from there, how to follow up with these people, and then how to export everybody and bring them into Everbee email. So everything is inside of that one-day email training. But the cool thing that we're doing, depending on when you are watching this, we are going to be doing a hybrid class of it, meaning people are going to be able to go through it at their own pace, but we're going to do 3 live calls that's going to help during a 7-day period. So that's going to start on Monday, and we're going to do our first call on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday is the scheduled call times. So brandcreators.com/one day. And you can join us there. This will probably be the only time that we do this as a hybrid live class. Not quite sure if we'll do it again, but if you wanted to be part of this cohort, well, go ahead and get in. Go to brandcreators.com/one day. Oh, and it's probably not going to be this low as a price either. It's under $100, I believe. So probably going to have to be increased because Chris and I have both talked. It's a great course and we're undercharging for it. We could totally go $200 and it would be worth it because it's probably worth $1,000. So anyway, if you want access to it, go there. All right, that's it. I'm going to go eat some lunch. Chris, you got to go get your voice back and probably go back to the event. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here today. This has been another awesome live stream and really enjoyed it. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you make sure that you leave a comment if you haven't done so already. If you need anything, you have any questions, or if you want to download our email guide, just put email in the comments and we'll see that and we'll make sure that we get it over to you. All right, guys, have an awesome, amazing day, weekend, whatever time of day or week it is for you. And we will see you right back here on the next episode. Take care, guys.